Alrighty, we're gonna make a quick and short video here just to build some hype for the Daytona 200 and AIRL, the Rockstar Cup Series. I'm gonna go through every single scheme that was revealed, and I'm gonna give my thoughts on them, my 2 cents. So let's go ahead and start with the first car. That will be the 00. Again, this is from the scheme showcase. So up here, it's the 00 Exalta car. You know, it's a pretty decent scheme. It's got a basic design, some graphic art behind it. It's a solid one, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. So definitely a decent looking car. Moving on to the 0 car. It's apparently a throwback to Hedge. You know, it's a little bit blurry. That might have been just a template issue. It seems kind of low resolution. Otherwise, it's like a decently basic design, but it works well, and it's definitely a good throwback for Hedge. If you haven't heard, Hedge is no longer row racing. Emerald was his final one. He ended it off with a win. This one is just Ross Chastain, and I gotta say, I am for it. It's a nice looking scheme. We've seen it in NASCAR. It's a good scheme, just adapted for the Rockstar Cup Series, and I'm excited to see it on track. Definitely a very solid one. Next up, the 3 Lenovo. This is a strong one. I don't like the 3. I think there's a better font that could have been used, but this is a pretty good looking car. I like the way how it's glowing, at least here in the showcase. I'm excited to see this car on track. But definitely, I'm not sure how I feel about the double Lenovo sponsorship, but I like the placement of this is a good looking next gen. This is the good use of it. It's just, I'd put a different logo back here, and that would be 10 out of 10 perfect. Go to the next car. I'm not going to do any editing on this video. It's going to be record and upload, basically. So you can see me just skipping through the video here. This is when we had that little delay. Moving on to the Celsius 7. You know, it's a good scheme. It follows like the RFK design here. I like the little transition from the orange to the white. The white hood works. Like, this is a very it works car. It's very nice looking. You know, it's a dark horse. I don't know how I feel about the number placement right here under the headlight, but very solid car. This 8 car, part of the Toyota family. You know, it's a weird looking Toyota, but this is a car that works, right? We've seen it in NASCAR. Denny Hamlin's been in it a couple of times. It's a very good car. Very much a solid car. I don't know what else to say about it other than it works very well. Next up, the 10 Red Bull. I can't say I'm a fan of this one. It's just the use of the blue and how there's not really a transition to the yellow. Pretty basic. This is not one of my favorites, but you know how I am with Red Bull. If you know, you know. Ballin with the 11. Very basic. It's just a blank car. Not much to look at here. You know, the gray is nice, I guess. What's next? Yes, the Penske 12. You know, it's very basic. There's not much going on. That's kind of the simplistic. That's kind of what it's going with here. It's a very basic car. I don't know. You'll definitely see it on track, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Next up, the 13. You slapped a logo on the hood, and you put a number on the side. That's about all I can say about this scheme. Not much really going on. It's very just mid. The Walmart 17. You know, I'm not a big fan of Walmart cars, but I can tolerate this one. I think this is Barry's car, and you know, I'm pretty excited to see it on track. It's bright blue. It's got the yellow and white on it. It fits very well on a next gen. I can't say I don't like it. I think it would look better on a Gen 7, Gen 6 or late Gen 6 or something like that. But definitely a solid car. Nanners, the defending champion for AIRL, running basically the same scheme as last season, but with a different number. This time driving uh, the 18 Ford, and it was a very solid scheme. You can see Nanners running up on stage there. Very solid. The design's simplistic. It doesn't need to be super complicated, and it works very well. The 19 Nationwide, I feel like there could have been a little bit more effort put into this, especially in the transition part where it goes to the side of the car. The Nationwide font here is kind of just misplaced. I think the rotation's too much, and it's just too low. So it's a solid scheme, but it could be better, in my opinion. And I am a fan of the Nationwide cars, and I'm just unfortunately not one of them. Let's take a look at Yummy's car now. Yummy's car, he's kind of going with a different theme here. From what he usually does, this is different for him, and at least it looks like it's different for him in my eyes. I like the transition from the bright orange to the black. I think that's done very well. Not sure how I feel about the font, though. That's the thing with all of Yummy's teams. I can't remember the team name, but all of his cars, the font is not my cup of tea. It works very well. And, it's a nice looking scheme. Yummy running the Home Depot scheme everywhere, basically. So it's a very nice looking car. All right, next up. The Loves 34. Another NASCAR scheme, and you can't really go wrong with NASCAR schemes. This one, I can't remember if it was low res. It doesn't look too bad. I've seen this car in real life. It works well, and I'll be looking out for it on track. I mean, it's bright, a lot of bright cars. Good to see. Oh yeah, Radiant's M&M's car, a throwback kind of to MRL, running the 38. I think running the M&M's route's a kind of good way to think about it, and this Toyota Camry certainly does look very nice. I'm a big fan of it. Another bright car, too. The 44 Prime, this thing looks super low res. I'm just saying, I don't know how you can get the template to look this pixelated, but the 44 looks, the font for the 44, not great. The blue outline, not great. The design is alright, it's just that the resolution's really killing you, and it's messing up the lining and stuff. This is good idea, bad effort, or whatever the phrase is. It's a little late tonight when I'm recording this. So, the Camping World 46, very clean. It's got that design on the side. I don't know if the design on the side really fits with the design on the scheme, but it's a very nice looking car. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice looking car. It's something we've seen in NASCAR quite a bit, so that's about all I can say on it. It's a nice car, very solid. The 51, the pink and blue. It's definitely vibrant, I'll say that. Not too sure if it's one of my favorite cars, though. Definitely, I'd put it right in the middle if I were making a tier list. Oh boy, the 54. I'm going to say it now. This is my favorite car. Even though the design isn't great, I always love McDonald's cars. I don't know I don't know what makes it go in my mind. I don't know how to explain it, but anything McDonald's on a NASCAR always looks good, and this is no exception. It's a very solid McDonald's car. Is there issues? Yes. The more you look at it, the worse it gets, but it's a very solid car. I'm excited to see this thing on track. I would put it down as my favorite car. Next up, the 66 Autodesk. I like the font. I like the silver. The design works here. An interesting sponsor, but done very well. This car is very clean, very, like, I would say modern. It's a nice looking car. I wouldn't be surprised to see that on an actual NASCAR. Very solid. The 74 Dex car, you know, it's kind of, the number is low resolution. It's got the same design. I'm not sure if it really fits here as well, especially it's always the same color. Solid. It's not a favorite. It's not very unique. It's all right. 85 Smithfield. You know, this logo has the same issue I said on the, I believe it was the Nationwide car, where it's just too rotated. This one, it kind of has to be with the body style. This is supposed to be a Camaro, but Alpha put it on the Toyota body accidentally. So this front we're just going to ignore. You know, the design's pretty basic. It's not a real complicated design. It's all right. The 93 Dr. Pepper. The red not matching up with the Dr. Pepper, like the red on the car, is not great in my opinion. Not much going on. It is decent. If the number were colored correctly, I think it'd look a lot better. It's just kind of throwing my eyes off here. The 98 Monster Energy car. It's hard to mess up a Monster Energy car. It's the same thing every time. Black car with the Monster Energy logo and text. Hard to mess up. This one was not messed up. Looks like every other Monster Energy car I've ever seen. So take that of what you will. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. The 99 U.S. Army. Interesting sponsor. Again, Alpha messing up with the Toyota on the Chevy body. But, you know, it's a solid scheme. I don't know. The side feels blank. I mean, that's the thing with the next-gen car, is that it always feels kind of blank on the side ever since they moved the number around. So it just feels blank. All right, next up, the 5 car. I think these are all Jinty's cars coming up. So this is casuals. It's a HendrickCars.com car. I'm actually kind of a fan of it. It's not sticking to the traditional sense, and this could almost be like a Walmart car if you actually think about it. So I like the use of the yellow and blue. I think it's a twist on the usual Hendrick Cars car. A very solid scheme. The 31, all right, Jinty's car, yeah, the leaf filter car. You know, it's a great car, good design. You got the water in the front, you got the leaf. You know, it looks like an actual stock car. Very well made. Of course, Jinty makes great schemes. Yeah, it's just a really well made car. Very solid. Looks like an actual car. And Junior Smith's Mountain Dew 88, Diet Mountain Dew. Very well done again. Looks like something Dale Jr. would have driven, right? This is giving me throwbacks to like his actual Diet Mountain Dew car. And I do believe we got just one more. It's Port's car, the Poppy Bank 16. Very well adapted to this next-gen car. It's the same design every time for Port. And, you know, it's a very solid car. Looks nice, and it's adapted very well to the next-gen. Let's see, is there any other cars remaining? No, that was the last one. So, you know, there's my take on all the different cars for the Season 3 AIRL race. I mean, we're going to see these at Daytona. We're probably not going to see all of them. We're going to see probably only a couple, depending on how many drivers show up. But, you know, that's a big race we're going forward to. And I got a surprise for everyone that cares about what the stream looks like. I've been working hard, especially tonight, getting at least some things ready. So all the scorebugs have been updated. You might have seen them if you're in the MRL Discord server or even in AIRL. We'll put the links in the description for that live stream. Again, that's going to be up later today. Don't miss out on it. It's going to be an interesting live stream at worst and a very fun one at best. Other than that, please like, subscribe. I need to get some things on the channel, so this is definitely a video to make. You know, it's 2 a.m. and It's 2 a.m., so I'm tired. That's why I'm rambling. Thank you for watching. Watch the live stream. That is it from me and my 2 cents on the schemes.